We aren't afraid of taking risks or doing what no one else is doing. We are a group of great people doing great things. Innovation, empowerment, sustainability, partnerships, perseverance. This is all part of our DNA. Since 1988, we have been pioneering a new way in HVAC solutions, and we want to share our stories with you. Expect a diverse range of episodes, from technical deep dives to uplifting stories, along with insightful discussions about the HVAC industry landscape as we see it at AAON. This is a deeper look inside AAON.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Inside AAON. My name is Derby, your host for today. With me today, I have two team members that I truly admire. This is Sierra Sparks and Daniel Pressler. They're both production supervisor at AAON. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to Inside AAON.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. AAON is very proud of the approach or the way that we see employment. And I would like to read a couple sentences that really reflects how we see employment at AAON. The first one says, at AAON, we believe that an inclusive culture welcomes ideas and people, and that is what drives innovation. Each team member is valued for who they are and what they bring to the table. At AAON, we develop our next generation of leaders by hiring, retaining, and promoting a diverse workforce. Those are all great, but one of the things that I like about AAON is that we don't just say it, we believe it, and we practice it. So today we're going to be talking about second chance employment, and there are hundreds of success stories out there, but you guys two have been chosen, and you guys had the courage to share the story with us. So once again, thank you so much for being here today. So before we go too much into details, I just want to hear about yourself, your background, your journey. How did you get here? Do you want to get us started?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I was addicted to drugs and everything for 22 years of my life, and I was sentenced to prison in 2014 with a 35-year sentence. And, I thought life was over. I didn't think I was going to get out until I was 60 years old. But in October of 2016, my cousin ended up taking his life. And, I just made it crushed me, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give the devil another day, another minute, another second of my life. And so I just began to change my life, and I started going to church, and I started reading the Word. And 2017 came, and I made a New Year's resolution to read my Bible from cover to cover. And when I did that, that was the first time in my life I had ever made a New Year's resolution and actually stayed through with it. And when I read that Bible from cover to cover, little things began to convict me. And by the time December was there, it transformed my life into who I am today. And I was released from prison on a 35-year sentence in 2019. And I came home, and in March, I started at AAON, and it's just, I love it. It's the best job I've ever had in my life. And God has just continued just to bless me, my family, and everything.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Are you from Tulsa originally?
Yeah, I've been in Tulsa my whole life.
Okay, so you have family here around and everything.
Yeah, I got family all around.
Nice. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. Sierra, how about yourself? Do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey?
I also am a recovering addict. I spent about 10 years in active addiction. I also spent a little time in prison. I am now, in May, will be 5 years clean, and in October, will have been at AAON for 5 years. Whenever I came out of prison and got my job at AAON, it wasn't about like your background, who you are. That never was a factor in what we're doing at AAON and the way that they viewed me. And I'm a mom. I now have my kids back with me. They've lived with me for 3 years. I think that a lot of that I can contribute to AAON. It's my steady employment. It's what gives me the ability to provide for them, provide for my family.
That's very powerful, and I really appreciate you sharing that with us.
Thanks.
It goes back to what I read at the beginning, is that at AAON we value who you are and what you bring to the table. What happened in the past is in the past, right?
Yeah.
And we move forward.
Yeah, we grow from it. We learn from it.
Yeah.
We use that to empower us,
Absolutely.
to drive us, to hunger, to do better, to be successful, and to continue to climb that ladder of success.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We all have our different challenges, right? We cannot compare to each other. Nobody knows what shoes the other person is walking through. So while we all have some challenges, I'm sure you guys have among second chance employers some specific challenges that you share. The first one says, at AAON, we believe that an inclusive culture welcomes ideas and people, and that is what drives innovation.
Well, it's difficult because, when you go to apply for a job, you think that you're only going to be able to get into construction because, when you got to fill out that application, like, have you ever been convicted of a felony? And it's hard because then you got to put yes, and then they want to know everything in detail. And then if you click no and they do a background check, then you're automatically you're not even application. They're not even going to hire you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, what are the words?
Intimidating?
Yeah, it's intimidating and it's scared, and you got to click that yes, and then you got to be honest, and you just hope and you pray that everything works out for the good and that you do get a chance, that they give you a chance to prove that you're a different person and your past doesn't dictate to who you are today.
What are you guys' opinion? Because the audience may not know, AAON is one of the few companies in the Tulsa area that is listed as a second chance friendly employer.
Right.
And I think that's phenomenal. But what do you think that the leadership at AAON sees in this opportunity that others don't?
I can't speak for all leadership, but I know that my background in general is what, like Daniel said, what drives me. Whenever because before, whenever I got out of high school and I went to start out a career, I was pretty successful, extremely well educated, and then I just went down the wrong path. And so whenever I decided that I was going to change my life and I was going to live for my kids, be a successful adult, that's what drives me. That's what I have something to prove. And I think some of our hardest workers are the same way. They have something to prove. They need to prove to themselves that they are so much more than what we thought we were whenever we were in active addiction or whenever we were making all the wrong decisions and whatever led us to the roads that we took.
I think once talking with you guys to prepare for this podcast, some of the stuff that I researched and also talking about with other AAON team members, one thing that represents you guys second chance employees is loyalty. I see how passionate and loyal you are to AAON and to the team.
Yeah.
You're wearing the jersey every single day, and I think that's just it's contagious. Yeah. How did you guys hear about AAON? I guarantee you didn't when you were growing up being like, when I grow up, I want to be in the HVAC industry.
Well, it's really strange because when I first come out, I went to the Wings of Freedom program. Mm-hmm. And I went.
What is that? Tell us a little bit about the Wings of Freedom.
It's a program for people that are trying to get sober, trying to get their life together. It used to be for moms and children, but then they opened it co-ed. And it's a faith-based. It's if you want to change your life. If you don't, then this program isn't for you. And it works if you work it. So when I came out, my wife was already in the program, and so they agreed to let me live with her. And so when I came home, I went straight there, and I went right back to construction. And my pastor, Dixie, he was like, "Hey, I want you to go apply at AAON." I was like, "I got a job. What do I need to go there for?" And he goes, "I want you to go apply." So he's my pastor, so I'm trying to be obedient. So I go apply. And then they accept my offer and everything, but they want to pay me like $4 less an hour. And I'm like, dude, that's a $4 pay cut. I can't do that. He said, "Take the job." I was like, "Are you insane?" He said, "Take the job." I said, "Okay." So I took the job. And I just went in there and I just worked my butt off, and I would just help wherever I was needed, and I would just get in there and get it done. And everybody's like, "Why you work so hard?" And because I want to prove myself, I want to advance in this company. And if I'm working for you, I want to give you the best person that I am. I want to benefit this company, and I want to work for this company to be better. I love AAON, and it's been the greatest opportunity of my life, and it's been the best job of my life, and I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sarah, how did you hear about AAON?
I also went to the Wings of Freedom program whenever I was released as a reentry. It was a requirement that I had to do reentry somewhere. And a girl that I was incarcerated with let me know that she was going to Wings of Freedom in Tulsa because I'm not from Tulsa. I'm from Tahlequah. And where I'm from, they don't offer anything like reentry or sober living or anything like that. So Tulsa was my pick. It's the closest thing to home and family. And at that point, there were so many people at Wings of Freedom that were employed at AAON that they knew as soon as they were doing a hiring event. And there was like 6 of us that loaded up in the van. And I was a nervous wreck. Like, do you guys know me? You know, what are they going to ask me? And from my background, every interview that I've ever done was like super business. So I get there and I'm just ready. I'm running through these mock review or interview questions in my head. And it was the easiest interview I've ever done in my life. And they didn't ask me anything about my background. And the whole time I was there, I was just nervous. And so 4 days after I was released from prison, I started my job at AAON.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when you were describing the program, you said this is a program that you have to work for it to work.
Yeah.
I love that. And when researching again for this podcast, a lot of people did not say you were given a second chance. It's you earned a second chance. You took that. How does that make you feel? Like the difference between giving a second chance and earning a second chance?
It feels great, you know, to know that somebody else believes in you and they're there to give you encouragement. They're there to build you up. They're trying to give you a hand up. They're not trying to give you a hand out, because it's up to you to do what you want in your life. You got to prove to yourself. You can't do it for your wife, your kids, or anybody. You got to do it because you want better for your life. And I mean, that's what they do. And if you're here to change your life, then they're going to help you with whatever you need. They're not going to give you a handout, but they're going to give you the hands up and the tools to be successful.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about support? I know I'm in an advantage here compared to the audience because I know you guys well and I know the team that you work with. And tell the audience about the support that you receive, and please tell some memories about specific people that have been there for you when you needed the most.
For me, I had been working at AAON maybe 6 to 8 months, and like I said, I used to try to help everybody. And so I was on the first station, and then I needed to go down there and help somebody at the end of the line. And, you know, I'm trying to move fast because I'm trying to get the job done. I'm trying to make the best of my time. And this guy, he walked up to me, and he said, "Hey, sir, come here." And I was like, "Yes, sir." He said, "What is your job title?" I was like, "Sir, I don't really have a job title." I said, "I'm the type of guy that does whatever needs to be done." He said, "What's your name?" And I shook his hand. It was Larry Honnell. And, you know, he's been a great inspiration. I've looked up to this guy. He's been a real role model and a support, and he'll do anything to help you be successful. But you have to go out there and do the work. He can help you so much, you know, as far as giving you an opportunity, but you have to be the one to go out there and work and do the job. He's not going to do it for you. But he gave me an opportunity, and him and the plant manager came out the next day and asked me if I had a resume and everything, and asked me if I would be willing to be a QTL. And I said, absolutely, I'm ready for it. Let's go, because I want to climb the ladder of success here at this company, and I want to retire from here a very wealthy man one day. And so he just gave me an opportunity, and I love Larry. I love Larry. I love Todd. I love all the leadership, because they're there to support you. And if you're here to do the good job and to help each other, man, they're gonna make sure that you're well fed and that you benefit here at this company. But it's like I said, you got to do the work.
Yeah, I cannot imagine a better picture of someone that supports people out there than Larry. And we have many of those. Stephen Wakefield is someone that in my career at AAON has always been there to mentor me, help me, and I can just see the support that these people have for all of us. How about you? Any stories that you want to share about the support you received?
AAON makes it absolutely hard to be stuck in your past, stuck in your background, because so much of me wants to be like ashamed and shy and worried about what people are going to think about me. I was taken under the wing of a really good supervisor, Justin Daniels, and I spent many days walking around following him, watching his leadership skills, and I knew absolutely nothing about his background. And he taught me pretty much everything he knows. And he offered me a QTL position at the paint booth. I was production painting every day, and he offered me a QTL position, and at that point I just got hungry. You know, I found out, like, so maybe my background is not going to be what kills me. And I used to be scared to death to talk to some of the senior leadership, you know, the plant manager, Larry Honnell, Whitney Wakefield, and something that is just absolutely inspiring to me is that they are inspired by us. Wings of Freedom does a gala every year to help. The gala that they do is the way that they fund how they help other people in the community. And we have 2 tables there, and all of our senior leadership are there, and they'll turn around and they just look at you and they just clap whenever, he'll ask you, anybody that's been in prison and came out and went through the Wings of Freedom program, please stand up. And the first time I was like, oh my gosh,
how vulnerable.
Everybody's going to know. And no, like I said, I think that they're inspired by us, and that's so
100%.
uplifting and so inspiring to me. Like, I'm not ashamed of my background anymore. That's who made me who I am today. I really don't think that I would have the drive that I do to be successful, especially in the industry that we're in right now, if it weren't for that.
We can't have an episode of this topic without asking some hard questions. So I'm sure they are, regardless of how great AAON is as an organization, it's formed by people. And when you have people, you have a lot of backgrounds, a lot of opinions. What are some of the challenges that you confront on a day-to-day basis, not only at AAON, but friends, families, maybe some preconceived belief of having a background like yours? Are there some challenges that you see?
Well, it can be difficult because they're sitting there waiting for him. Well, how long is it going to be before he trips up? How long is it going to be before they revert back to their old ways? And a lot of people go through and they're just waiting for you to stumble or to fall. And you got people, you don't even sit at their tables, but they are sitting there just watching your every move on social media and everything, and they're just waiting for you to stumble. And I use that for a hunger. I use that for a drive.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about AAON is because I come in here, I have a lot of tattoos, and I look like a roughneck. I look rough around the edges. But then if they gave me an opportunity, and they don't look at my tattoos, they don't look at my past, they look at who they have in front of them, and it's such an inspiration, because these guys they believe in me, and it makes me want to work that much harder for them, and it's kind of emotional, because I've never had anybody in my life that supported me or to care, I never heard I love you growing up, and so to hear and you can feel the love. They may not tell you they love you, but you can feel the love, and you can feel the encouragement. You can feel that they have your back. And, I have a great boss, Ian Slattery, and, he's there to lift me up no matter what it is. He's going to be there to help me up. And if I have a bad day, hey, come in here, let's talk about it. And, and that's what goes so good about leadership there is they will sit down, they will take time, whether it needs to be 5 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour. They're going to sit down and work through the problem with you to help you be successful. Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing.
Some challenge you face, maybe outside AAON, on AAON, I'm sure they're in a day-to-day basis, looks or comments that people may make because of the background.
The biggest thing is that I'm my own worst critic, right? So I can walk into a place and they may not know anything about me. And I definitely by far at this point in my life do not look like I've been out in active addiction, but my brain tells me that they know, everybody knows.
I appreciate sharing that. It's very humble, and it sounds, there sometimes there are as many challenges outside than internal. Sometimes we're our worst enemies, and it happens with many of us. When I moved from the Parkville office to Kansas City, I had a lot of challenges internally, questioning myself, am I worth it? I'm a little guy in this big pool, and so many great people, very intimidating. So we all have those.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Let's go back a little bit to the organization, Wing of Freedoms. I know that you guys are not the only that come from the organization, but not only you guys come from there, but you guys are also still active there, and you're paying it forward. I can think of one person specifically who is very active. She helps a lot and mentors a lot of people in that organization. Could you share with the audience how you guys are paying it forward?
On Tuesday nights, I teach the kids from 13 to 18, and I just try to, while their parents are in Celebrate Recovery, I'm trying to teach them there's a better path, and I look the part, and so they listen to me. They're sitting on the edge of their seats, and they want to listen to me, and I'm trying to tell them, hey, there's a better way, and I try to tell them about God, and I try to tell them about making the right choices, and I try to give them the keys to success. That way they don't have to go down the long, dark road like I did and just waste so many years of their life when they can make a change now. They're young. They have their whole life ahead of them. I just try to plant that seed and just hope that it will grow, and I try to just mentor them to them. If they have questions or anything, I just try to help lift them up. And that's a real critical age from 13 to 18.
Absolutely.
Because that's when usually you fall. That's usually when you take that darker path and you fall off. And so I'm trying to mentor to the kids to try to build them up and to give them the keys to success.
Thank you for that. That's awesome. That's awesome. How are you paying it forward?
I try to just be the example, especially there's a lot of people that come to AAON that are currently in Wings of Freedom, and when you work at AAON and you've been in Wings of Freedom, everybody knows you, right? So I've had several ladies that have started at AAON that were currently in Wings of Freedom, and their first question is, I hear everybody call you Sierra. Are you the Sierra from Wings of Freedom? And I'm like, yeah, so they come to me with questions, with concerns when they're worried about things. I've had people call me whenever I'm at home, and sometimes you just got to talk to somebody. Yeah. That's it. I just try to help as much as I can. Yeah, absolutely. Listening is the biggest thing.
That's super inspiring. And it's not only listening to them, but you understand them. You can relate to them.
Right.
You know what they've been through. And we all experience things in life differently, but when you have that in common, it's better. Awesome. I appreciate that. I love it how naturally you guys just gave two examples of how you actively go and pay it forward through an organization, but we cannot forget that you can also pay it forward by what you do day in and day out and how you're leading through example. Yeah. That really takes us to the next question, and it's about leadership. And we all have our own perspective of what leadership is and what it looks like. Has your background as a second chance employee impacted the way that you see leadership and how you define leadership?
I think so, yep. Before I went down the path that I went down and came out and became the person that I am today, I was very tunnel visioned, I was guilty of being one of the people that was like, oh, look at them. Well, now I know that people can come from anywhere, absolutely any background, whether they came up in the nice neighborhoods or the bad neighborhoods, whether they have been in church their entire life or went down the wrong path. And they all, as long as they have a drive and want to be successful, every person can be mentored or guided into something great and something successful. There's so many people that come in and I see them with the same lack of confidence that I had. And a lot of them are second chance employees. And I'm a people watcher, so I'll sit back and I watch somebody's work ethic, and that's whenever I advance to them and I have that conversation, is leadership something that you would like to be part of? Because the good thing about being a supervisor is we get to pick the leaders below us. And if you watch and talk and guide and mentor, you can make those leaders eventually be your replacement.
I love that. How about yourself? How do you see leadership, and has that impacted your background, impacted the way you see it?
Not so much. I don't think my background really plays a role anymore. I try to just get out there and be the best version of me. I try to see, like she said, people with potential, people that you can mentor. If you see somebody that has a great work ethics and just have a good drive, you want to go over there, you want to mentor them, you want to try to build them up and see if they are qualified for management. That way, you want to train somebody to be your backup, and you just want to make sure you continue to build up your team, so that if you're not there, the show must go on. And you want people, you want to train them. You don't want to hold all your your skill to yourself. You want to share it. That way, that's how we grow to be even better and bigger. And that's one thing that we really strive for in my department is we have this 3 deep, and we try to mentor 3 people. Each manager has 3 people that they mentor, and that way, if they died, if they left, or if they went or got promoted, we have somebody else already in line ready to take that spot. And so we're always looking for those ones with the hard drive, the ones that's got self-motivated, the ones that you don't have to tell what to do every day, or the ones that are just slacking. And so we're always looking for the ones with potential and the ones that want to take that next step. And so, yeah, I agree with her. But we got to be, most importantly, we got to be an example ourselves. We got to go out there and lead by example. Yeah.
That's when the difference between having a title and authority. Authority is earned through your work, through your example, being there in and out. And in your guys' field, it's a lot of work, long hours, hard work there. Yeah. That is awesome. So we talked about backgrounds. We talked about the present. I want to talk a little bit of the future. What are your goals? Where do you see yourself professionally in your life?
I'm definitely not going to stop at the supervisor level. I climbed the position steps that I have in a rather fast manner, but right now I am learning to sit back and feel out the position that I'm in right now. 6 months into being a supervisor, I thought I was ready for the next step. That's a lie. At this point, I'm trying to be right. I'm actually have been really humbled lately because for about a year, I was a supervisor over the paint and final department, which was the original department that I came out of. And that's one thing that I feel like I mastered. So I was like, I was confident, extremely confident, and I just knew that I was doing it, And now I'm currently supervising the paint and final department and 4 assembly lines. I know absolutely nothing, or I didn't know anything about the assembly lines whenever I came. But I am good at being a supervisor, being support, being just guidance for those team members below me. So it was really humbling to me whenever I went out on the floor, and I'm like, I kind of felt like a
whole new world, basically.
A deer on brand new legs, just not confident, not comfortable. But I'm getting there. I think that I know that my leadership, whenever I'm ready for that next step, they're going to let me know. And I'm completely comfortable with that because at first I was like, give me this. I'm ready for the next one. I want to wait until they feel like I am completely ready for the next one. And I think the sky's the limit.
Yeah, conquering one step at a time.
Right. Yeah. I don't think that there's anything that I can't do, especially with the leadership that I have right now, the leadership that we have behind us. They are extremely encouraging, and I really don't think that there's anything that I can't do at AAON.
So how about you? What's your future looks like?
Oh, I want to climb the ladder of success as well. I'm really good at managing people. I'm good at problem solving, so the sky's the limit for me too. I don't know where this may go, but I'm hoping to be sitting in the plant manager's spot one day, just wherever that is, but I just want to continue to climb. I got 6 kids at home, and so I'd like to buy some land. I want to be able to have a nice shop out back. That way I can have my toys out there, and also to build my family. I want to be able to be proud of what I've built up and what God has given me and what I've continued to climb. But AAON, I feel like they have given me an opportunity, and I try to go in there each and every day and just to build that up because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring, but we just got to plan for it and just try to do every day, and just try to be your best, But you also want to make sure when you are offered a position, you want to make sure that it's going to be beneficial to you and your family, and it's not going to complicate things. And so it's kind of nerve-wracking because you want to make that next step, but then you got to weigh out the odds. Is this going to be beneficial? Is it going to help or is it going to hinder? And so it is kind of scary, and when we don't know something, it's intimidating, and every time I've ever got a higher position, my wife has always told me, Daniel, don't worry, you always freak out. Don't worry, because I want to be the best version of me. And I hate not knowing, because then I got to go in there and I got to learn from somebody, and because I want to master it. I want to be the best at what I can be, and I want other people. I want to make other people proud. I want to make them see that they made the right decision. So I don't want to drop the ball or fumble in that sense. I want to go out there and be the best version of me, and I want other people to be able to respect me and to know, hey man, that's a great one. I want to be like that guy. That guy does a great job leading.
That is awesome. I love everything that you have shared. And one thing that I very excited about is just I'm going to get to witness your growth and how you continue embracing what you do, embracing your teams, finding those leaders out there. So it's really exciting being part of it. I feel like I'm part of what you guys are going through, and it's very humbling.
We're one big AAON family.
We are.
That's
right.
what it is, because you spend more time with people at work than usually you do your family. So it's like a family. So you got to go in there and just build that family up, and try to help wherever you can.
Okay. I have one last, and this is the question that I ask each of my guests before we finish the podcast. What is AAON for you?
I think family is a good word. I think that AAON is one, that's the thing that I like the most about them, is there's so many different cultures there and so much opportunity to be successful. It does, I can't beat it over the head enough. It does not matter where you come from, because as long as you have the drive and you have the want to, the will, and the desire, you can be anything that you want to be at AAON, for sure.
Excellent.
I feel the same way. That's my family. That's, I sweat and bleed AAON. I want to do everything there. When I came to this company, man, they opened me up with arms wide open, and it's such an overwhelming feeling to me, because I've never been pretty comforted or opened up like that, and people see my tattoos. They see, oh, well, this guy looks rough, but AAON, man, they don't look at none of that. They look at you and what you bring to the table, and it's up to you to climb that ladder. And man, I love AAON, man.
I don't know what you're talking about with the tattoo and the looks. I feel like once this podcast goes live, the New York fashion show will take you away or something.
You got some people though. You got those
I know
judgmental
exactly what
ones,
you
and
mean.
then you got those ones. So it's really great to come to a job, because that was one thing I was always worried about. Oh, they're not going to hire me. I got face tattoos and neck and all that. But man, when they didn't look at none of that. They just said, you got the job, and it's up to you to go in there and
Just wait and see what I can do.
yeah.
That is awesome.
I got to prove myself.
Yeah. Well, guys, I really appreciate your time. It has been amazing. Learned so much. I'm excited to continue learning from you guys and to witness the growth.
Thank you.
Thank you. To our audience, thank you for joining us. And if there's one thing that I learned today, is that earning a second chance, giving someone a second chance is just the beginning. What matters is that you give them the resources, the tools, and the support so that they can thrive.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Until the next one.
The views, opinions, and beliefs expressed in this podcast series are those of the individuals and do not represent those of AAON and its employees.